Hello, my name's Hannah.
And I'm Adam, and we are the Zerrs. When we were asked to speak on stewardship, we felt so grateful because we feel like we have a unique perspective on what it means to be members of St. Mike's. We're a military family, and we moved here about 2 summers ago in the throes of COVID lockdown. Now this is with at the time, a 6-year-old, a 4-year-old, a 2-year-old, and a 5-month-old. It was a fun move. Now this is our 6th duty station, so we know the drill of how to meet new people, get plugged into a new community, and make new friends. But moving during COVID was a whole new animal.
So one of the first things that we did when we got here was fill out the registration packet for being members here at St. Mike's. And I remember being so blown away by the amount of ministries and things that St. Mike's had going on. We thought, man, this must have been a thriving parish before COVID. I bet they even had donuts after Mass. So a few days after mailing in the registration packet, I got a call back. It was Ann Ash, and she called to just welcome us to the community. She gave me information. She asked about interests to see if there was anything that we wanted to get involved in. She actually set us up with a Zoom small group, which we've now been a part of for the 2.5 years that we've been here. And then she prayed with me over the phone. Listen, the number of parishes we've been a part of is longer than the Litany of Saints. No one has ever prayed with us over the phone before. So we knew that we had found something good here. And then when we finally were able to come to Mass in person, we saw Father Jim living out his vocation with ALS, and we thought, man, I love him. And also, we belong here.
Then there was the first day of school. Our oldest, Sebastian, was the only new kid in 1st grade, and meeting all of his new classmates for the first time over Zoom. All of the students and the teachers were so wonderful and so welcoming. There are simply not enough good things to say about the teachers who navigated school during COVID. You were all amazing. And since then, things have only gotten better. We love this current reality where our children are growing in faith and in friendship at the same time. And they experience that every day in this school and in this parish.
So our first year here, when St. Mike's was doing the stewardship renewal, we felt like the Holy Spirit was calling us to adjust our gift of treasure. We had to overhaul our priorities to match what we felt called to. And as our kids get older, they started to notice the size of our yard versus their friends' yard, or the lack of Tesla in our driveway, or that we don't go out to eat very often. And we've had to explain to them that, first of all, minivans teach mommy humility. And second, we've adjusted our priorities to be the parish and Catholic school for them, and then our investments, and then groceries, because my gosh, then cars and leisure, and so on. And I remember listening to a gospel reflection by Alan Hunt, and he was discussing how Jesus talks about money more than any other topic in the gospel. And that's because where our treasure is, there also is our heart. And Jesus isn't after our treasure or our money, he's after our hearts. And so tug, tug went the Holy Spirit on our hearts.
Then, during last year's stewardship renewal, we felt like the Holy Spirit was calling us to take a look at our time. I don't remember who said it, but someone asked what it would look like if we were to tithe 10% of our day to God. That was an alarming way to look at it. That would be roughly 2.5 hours to God in church every day. We certainly were not attaining anything close to that. Somehow, we had convinced ourselves that because we were parents of young children, that just wasn't a reality for us. And at times, that was true. In this season of parenting, there were some things that were more stress than bless. Sometimes we needed to say no, but not always. And so we began to slowly pour ourselves and our time into this parish, and God abundantly poured back into our life with beautiful, bountiful blessings of friendship and faith. Which brings me to another thing that we love about stewardship here at St. Mike's. Never have we felt pressured to do anything. It's always, hey, here's an opportunity for you. We think it would be good for you. We'll pray for you, and you should pray about it too. And just like that, sneaky old St. Mike's is praying for people and letting the Holy Spirit loose on parishioners, just like us.
For example, recently I felt like I was getting promptings from the Holy Spirit to spend more of my time in adoration, and I said, no, thank you. That doesn't sound lovely with these children, but thank you for the blessing of these children, Lord, but I don't want to take them to adoration. And so then, in a way that only God can, he used my sister, and she sent me a quote that she randomly saw on Facebook, and it said, "Procrastination is an expectation that God will give you another day." I'm going to say it again for the people in the back. Procrastination is an expectation that God will give you another day. Wow, Holy Spirit, play hardball much? Like, that was a lot. So one night I was already at the parish office for a meeting, and I was alone. My kids were with a sitter. And so I said, all right, let me just pop over to adoration, kind of stave off the Holy Spirit for a little bit. And guess who was sitting on the floor in the front? Any guesses? A mom and her 3 kids, one of which was in a baby carrier, which was younger than my youngest. And so I was filled with this confidence that only the Holy Spirit can provide. And it was like a Holy Spirit rush. And I don't know who you are, random mom in the Adoration Chapel, but just know the beautiful reality that you've impacted my life just by your very presence. And I love you. Since then, the girls and I go nearly every morning after we drop the boys off at school. And sometimes we only stay for 5 minutes if they're being very rumply. And sometimes they're great and we stay for longer and spend more time with Jesus. But one morning, we went in and we were the only ones in there. So as I walked up to open the repository doors, there's the 2 kneelers in the front, and my 4-year-old, Grace, tells my 2-year-old, Faith, she says, hey, kneel right here and put your hands like this. And then she goes over to the other kneeler and she puts her hands here and she said, okay, now pray to Jesus like this. And I just sat back and watched and I was like, my gosh, Lord, like, that was beautiful. And so often I think as moms, we feel like we might be kind of messing our kids up. And then you just get these reminders that, no, my grace is sufficient for you. And that he is going to be there to fill in all the cracks, in the foundation as we raise these kids up. We, me, Adam, the Holy Spirit, and our St. Mike's family.
Now, we know that we will be moving this next summer. And I cannot say how much we are going to mourn the loss of this parish. Like we said previously, we've been members of a lot of parishes, and none of them have come to the joy that we found in St. Mike's. It is so active, and there's just so many people to love here. We wish that it was God's will that we could stay here and grow in faith and friendship in this parish and in this school. But alas, that is not God's nor the Army's will for our lives. And so I encourage you, for your own sake, take advantage of this truly remarkable opportunity, this remarkable gift that you have here in this parish. If you have fear or anxiety about getting involved or listening to the Holy Spirit, then we can only stand up here and encourage you to take that to prayer and to ask God for a sign. The number of chance, random meetings and encounters that we've had in this parish are truly remarkable. And we can only believe that it's because the Holy Spirit is so active in this parish and school. And so our stewardship story is truly just a story of gratitude and saying thank you for your stewardship story. Because of you all and God's grace, we will leave this parish so much more spiritually mature than when we arrived, and we'll be ready to pour ourselves into our next parish, wherever that may be.
We could never thank each and every one of you enough for the time and talent and treasure that you give to this parish. You have no idea how profoundly you have impacted us and our family and our own stewardship journey. We are truly blessed because of you, and you have enriched our lives, and we love you.